Welcome to Collecting Consciousness, where we aim to capture the ever-expanding and evolving conscious creations that originate from the minds of fellow podcasters, strangers, dear friends, and loved ones.
In this podcast, we will expand on our inner wisdom and a coming home to self. From our conscious minds to yours, we welcome you to the Collecting Consciousness. Welcome into another episode of Collecting Consciousness. Here we are continuing on our Burlesque series. It has been a fun ride this far, and it's not stopping yet. So let's introduce our newest guest. Cee Salt was born from the legend of the Selkies, seals who shed their skin to walk the earth as humans. She challenges her audience to shed their perception of age. Cee Salt's performances uses storytelling through the choice of music to inspire and encourage others. At 60 years old, Cee Salt is embracing her crone energy, her crone era, learning and growing within the vibrant community of talent and be. Welcome in, Cee Salt.
Thank you. Yes, embracing the energy and the era of the crone.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Before we start, I just want to say many of the burlesque dancers have always shouted out to you, your big energy, and this is our first official meeting. So I'm very excited to meet the infamous Cee Salt.
Yes, the mama of the Talent NB group. Yeah, Mama Energy, and just love being part of such a vibrant and eclectic group of people. So thank you for that.
Welcome. Well, I'll just start off with the first question here. Where did Cee Salt come from? Where did she originate? When did your journey start?
Interestingly enough, I've known Jacinda for about 10 years. We met when we were both doing bodybuilding competitions. So when I was 50, I did bodybuilding competitions and met her through that. And even at that time when we bonded, she was talking even then about wanting to do burlesque at some point and not really knowing how that was going to manifest, but just a belief that it would happen. And I was right on board that. The empowerment and the energy that she brought to that dream just brought me along. So fast forward 6 years past the time that we shared a stage together doing bodybuilding, she announced her first Talent NB show, which was the October show in 2022, I think. And as it turned out, the date she had picked was 6 years to the day from when her and I were in the last bodybuilding show together.
Oh.
So I was at the gym when I saw this announcement, and I was like, she's doing this show and I'm not ready. Like my burlesque, I'm just not there yet. I'm not. But I went on the treadmill and did my warm-up walk. And in the 5 minutes that I was on the treadmill, Cee Salt was born. I was like, if I was going to do it, who would I be? What would be my persona? What would I bring? And my performances have always been led by music and the storytelling of the songs. So the song that came to me was Cool Change by the Little River Band, which is way before both of your time. But it is all about being on the sea, coming from the sea, that being a place of birth and originality. Coming from Newfoundland as well, the sea is a very big
that.
Place. Yeah. Middle Cove is my favorite place in the whole world. Yeah,
I love that.
The sound of the water on the rocks is my favorite sound, except for the sound of my children's voices. And so Cee Salt was born. The name also came because Jacinda's persona is cayenne pepper. and I wanted to honor her as my burlesque mom. So I thought of staying along the spice kind of
Wow.
salt hair with the pepper. And so once I had salt, then Cee came, obviously, and making it a play on the word Cee, S-E-A, changing it to Cee. And then that also takes on a whole life of its own, because you see, I want to be seen. I want to, in an era where women of my age are often invisible to society or pushed aside. I wanted people to really be able to see me. So that's all of that came.
That's so deep. 5 minutes, and it's so fucking deep. It's so deep.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, whenever performers decide that they want to step forward and to go on the stage, they often put a lot of pressure on themselves to find their persona or create their persona. But really, the persona is already there. You just have to open the space for them to come forward. And when you stop trying so hard is usually when they show up.
Yeah, let the ego out of the way and just surrender to what already is within us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then, I love that story. That's so fun. So fun. And so neat that you and Jacinda go so far back into like almost a different lifetime together. Like, I'm sure a different lifetime, it feels like. And so were you simultaneously doing burlesque with her? Because I know she was doing like whole things. No, you were just like, I'm on board. The burlesque sounds awesome.
So when I saw her post, and I texted her right away, like, oh my God, I'm not ready, but I want to be. And she said, well, come help out the first show. And I did. I went and helped out at the first show. I don't know how much of a help I was, because I was just like in awe of everybody. And as soon as I was part of it, I was like, yeah, absolutely, I need to be here. I've often said that I don't have a background in performing, but over the last couple of years, I have, I guess, rediscovered that I do actually have a background. When I was younger in St. John's at the Arts and Culture Center, there was called the Basement Theater, and it was like theater school and performances for public. And so I did that from a very young age, and was always involved in drama productions at school and high school and things like that. I'm not a dancer. I always stress that I'm a burlesque performer, because dance is not something that I have a background in at all. But I do have a background in storytelling and performance, and that's what I bring to the audience.
Yeah. I got to see, you sent a little clip of one of your performances, and I just loved it. It is totally a storytelling, beautiful performance.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful performance, honoring your womanhood, going from young girl to
adolescence.
Your crone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And shedding that, like, no fucks given. I felt it. I felt that in your performance, that curiosity with Que Sera, very like ethereal. And then when you went into Shania Twain, I was just like, yes. And then who was the last song? Was that Joni Mitchell?
No, that was Helen Reddy, I Am Woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Yes.
I wanted to use I used clips from the other two songs, but I wanted to use her whole song, because that is where the real transition and transformation happened, particularly in my life and womanhood from my 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s now. At a time when, like I said earlier, women are often pushed aside or made invisible, or like all the anti-aging things and all these things that we're not supposed to be who we are. We're not supposed to transgress into our own lives and to transform into our own lives. So I really wanted to push that forward and really claim that womanhood.
And I want to lean into that, because I really do think that the ageism we are pushed aside. It's funny. I had a thought the other day, like, I feel very confident in my energy, but I was like, I wonder when I'm going gray, and I'm like, I'm curious what the energy is going to be like. Am I going to notice that shift? Have you been able to really help women in that transitionary phase shed that fuck off type of mentality and really just show up? Like, my question is, like, have you, have people come to you?
Yeah. So a little bit of more of my background. I started doing Taekwondo when I was 40.
Oh, wow.
Because I saw my children who were taking Taekwondo at the time. I was seeing the benefits they were getting from just attempting things and failing, which, as a female child of the 70s with undiagnosed ADHD, was not something that I ever felt that was possible to do, that you could be bad at something or that you could learn from something. And when I saw my daughter testing for her green belt and not getting it and then not giving up, I was like, oh, I need to do this, because I was devastated for her, and she was already planning what she was going to do next month to improve so that she could get her belt. So I started Taekwondo when I was 40, got my black belt when I was 45, started transitioning into bodybuilding, and did that because of a friend that I met through Taekwondo. And did my first bodybuilding show when I was 50, 10 years ago, the April 4th, actually. And then did 2 more shows in 2016. And then transitioned into burlesque. So all of those seemingly unrelated moments or events, if I hadn't have done Taekwondo, I wouldn't have met the person that introduced me to bodybuilding. If I hadn't met the person who introduced me to bodybuilding, I wouldn't have met Jacinda.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have met Jacinda, I wouldn't be doing burlesque at 60. So I know this kind of like a roundabout way to answer your question, but the releasing of expectations and doing things because it's the thing you're supposed to do. Like doing a Taekwondo at 40 is not generally a thing that women I was not, there was not a lot of women at 40 with their white belt getting started in Taekwondo. Like that's a thing that kids do, right? Bodybuilding was not a thing that, when I started, there wasn't even grandmaster divisions in the shows, in the events. And now in burlesque, it's, to start a career like this at this age is not something that is generally done. So my dream is not that everybody goes and does bodybuilding or burlesque or Taekwondo. My dream is that you don't not do something because of the expectation placed on you at whatever stage of life you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about that is, expectations are so fucking constricting on people. And when we start releasing those expectations, we start to realize, like, there's so many opportunities, there's so many things that we can do, and to stop limiting ourselves. And it really feels like, with you saying like all these little connections, it seems like you're very tapped into your divinity, to your empowerment, and like talking about your crone era, like it just seems like you are open to what is meant to come to you. Do you feel that?
More and more, definitely more and more. I read years ago when I first started going gray, because I colored my hair for years. And the main reason why I stopped coloring it was actually, I was at a Taekwondo demonstration with the group, the kids and everything downtown. And one of the women that trained at the time came up to me at the next class and said, I was wondering who that teenager was up there with all the other kids, because I didn't recognize them. And then I realized it was you. Oh. And I was like, which might sound like a compliment, but for me it was, but what am I doing this for? If I'm blending in as a teenager with the rest of the kids, I'm not doing what I set out to do by showing other women my age that it's possible for you too. Mm-hmm. So at that moment, I was like, okay, well, the hair is going to go gray because I don't want to be mistaken for somebody younger than I am. And anytime anybody says, "Oh, you look so good for your age," it's like, what age is that? And how is that age supposed to look? Like, totally. I am who I am at this point in my life. Yeah. And so as my hair was getting grayer, and it's interesting again, people's responses to that. Oh, you look so old. Oh, you look so. You should probably color your hair. Do you want to add? It's like, no. This is nature's. Has decided this is the color. I started growing it out actually again because I had it quite short for years. But when I started to do burlesque, I started to grow it out. So it's nice and long now, so I can do the head swirly things. and the expectations, and like you said earlier, the expectations people put on you tell you about who they are, not who you are. They expect a woman of a certain age is supposed to do a certain thing. Like the things I heard when people were like, "Oh my God, you're wearing a bikini on stage and doing bodybuilding. I could never do that." Well, nobody's telling you to do that. This is what I'm doing. Yes. So you're telling me your limitations. You're not going to impinge on my experience by telling me your limitations. Putting their projections on you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Gosh, that is really good stuff right there. That is really good stuff to remember, really, at any stage and really in anything that you do. It's just like, listening to what other people have to say about it is not your truth. It's not your motivation. Yeah. Wow. So neat. So what has the journey been like since you stepped on stage? Because you kind of took us up to like your first, exposure to the community, being a stagehand or a helper. Then what did it feel like to actually get on stage and perform?
Yeah, so the first show was the October show in, like I said, 2022, I think. And right away I was like, yes, absolutely, I have to be on stage. And so the next one coming up was the Christmas show. And so I decided to do Santa Baby, Eartha Kitt, one of my husband's favorite songs, and also a great story. And so the first time Jacinda said, like, you don't have to go down to pasties if you want. You can just go to lingerie, whatever you feel comfortable with. So the first show, I just went to lingerie. I just, took the dress. I wore my mother's sealskin coat. That was, the first. So when my mom was a nurse, the very first paycheck she got in 1962-3, she bought a sealskin coat. Oh, magical. As you know, from Newfoundland, that's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
So I wore that in my first performance to connect to, again, the story of shedding the seal skin. And so I did that, and then had a dress underneath and went down from the dress, and then went to just like a negligee baby doll kind of thing with fishnets and stuff. And immediately after the performance, I was like, oh, the next show I have to go to pasties. It was so, before I started, there was a little nerves. Mostly it was are they even going to care? Are they going to, what is the response from the audience going to be? This, old lady coming up doing this thing. The audience was phenomenal. I had such a great time. Later, when I got to know her, Amber Oleander said that was the first performance that she had gone to, the first show that she had gone to, and she was enthralled and really loved my performance and was like, well, if she can do that, then I can do that too. And she sure does. She's a performer as well. So from there, I did several more shows. The challenge was when I'm on stage, when Cee Salt is on stage, because I'm not on stage. Cee Salt comes forward when we're on stage. And I would be lost in the performance. I would be lost in her owning her truth and performing and being all of it. And then I would see the pictures afterwards, and Michelle would step forward and be critical. Michelle didn't like because I've put on a lot of weight since my bodybuilding days, since my Crohn era has started, post-menopause and a lot of other things. So my body love is still a challenge some days. And it was really a challenge when I would see the pictures after the shows or the videos or whatever. And that continued up until the March show, with the clip that I sent you both. When I did that show and when I finished that show, I could look at the pictures, I could look at the video, and I felt whole, and I felt proud, and I felt it was such a transformative experience. I had been working with Cosmic Mother Medicine, also known as Shady Sugar, for months prior to that as well, doing some energy work and healing work and flexibility. But it was all healing. And then I had the opportunity, I was invited to do the show in March, and she helped me through that process as well, and helped me to really define some of the moments in it. And even now, like when I sent you the video and I watched it again, I was like, yeah, I did that. Like, it was such a shift in being able to appreciate all of the parts of that. I had such a great response. The standing ovation afterwards, I can't even, like, looking out at all the people and seeing how it touched them. Because whenever I do a performance, and I'm sure other performers are in this as well, but you create your vision of a performance, and then you put it out on a stage, and you hope that the people receive it in the intention and in the energy that you have created it. But you have no control over that. It's their filter, it's their experience, it's their lives, what kind of energy they're in the moment. So you can't go, oh, I really want everybody to get this message from that, or I really want everybody to see this part of it, or because everybody's going to pick their own moment, their own energy. But to have that collective energy at the end of that performance was just the greatest gift. And the community of performers, as well as the community of the audience that has developed over the last several years, has just been the most rewarding and supportive that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you for that beautiful share, Cee Salt. That's, we're trying to find a common thread in all of this. And to me, like, I see two threads right here, right now. And to quote Shady Sugar, it's a medicine. Like being on stage is a medicine, and watching you be critical of yourself, watching Michelle come in and being critical from fucking society's programming, and then you're able to see yourself, see that pain, also reach out for support and find those tools, whether it be energy healing, whether it be, speaking to a loved one and just being vulnerable. You were able to transform and transmute that old paradigm that you were living in. So there's one common thread that I see, and another thread that I'm seeing right now is the empowerment from the other performers. I witnessed it, and it's like, because you can still go out in society and meet people and see where people are not supportive, where people are not loving your shine. But when you find those people, when you find that tribe, the studio, the performers, the people in the community, the empowerment and the wanting to see your shine, that has been huge.
Absolutely.
So that's thank you for sharing that, because it's a reality. It is a reality that we are harsh on ourselves, but there's that acknowledgement to where we can shift and grow and transmute and transform. And you're not the same person that you were on that first performance.
Yeah, no, for sure. No.
Yeah.
And, that's often the, people get lumped into who they were at a certain point in their lives and will oftentimes get stuck in that mold. Well, you did this thing, so you could never do any of these other things. And, from my own mom's experience, as long as there's breath in your body, you can get to wake up, and every day you get to make your choices and choose how you're going to live your life. Mm-hmm. And she lived with cancer for 27 years before she passed in 2009. And, but she never let that define her, who she was, as a survivor, as a victim, as a patient, she just was. And she just okay, so today's a good day. I get to do more things. Today's not a great day. I'm not going to do as many things. But you still have the opportunity to make those choices within that. And that's why, that's the other kind of thing. When I decided to do my very first bodybuilding show, it was to celebrate turning 50 with all my body parts. Because by the time my mom had turned 50, she'd already had a hysterectomy. She'd had a mastectomy. She had a surgery again on the original mastectomy site. She had rounds and rounds of chemotherapy and various other things dealing with the cancer that she had in her body. And I was pissed off with people, women my age particularly, complaining about what they couldn't do or didn't do or whatever. It was like, bitch, you got all your body parts. Go do something. It doesn't have to be a bodybuilding show, but find your thing and do a thing. Find a passion and if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. That's your journey. You do it, but don't be standing in my way while I'm trying to do mine.
And also, it can be just as simple as find gratitude. Find gratitude that you actually get to choose today, that you actually have all your body parts, that
exactly. So often, not that everybody has an easy life, but I find that people that have not faced real adversity are often the ones that complain the loudest about things that, really?
Really? And like you said earlier, choices. And Bethany and I were talking about this.
And stuff it in your bra because there's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah. We all have choices though. We all can choose to wake up and see things differently. If you're tired of living in this loop that you've been living, okay, what is the perspective that I am not quite seeing? Where can I go find support? What sort of energy healer, what sort of therapy, what sort of whatever your journey can I do to start seeing things differently? Because it is choices that we make, but also there are blinders that we have. So find your team. Find your team that can help you see those blinders. Have an honest friend, an honest loved one. Be like, can you help me? I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of complaining.
Thank you for tuning in to Collecting Consciousness.
We're so grateful that you've been on this journey with us so far.
And we look forward to seeing where we are going to expand, curate, and collect.
So if you haven't already liked, subscribed, or shared our content, and you feel called to do so, we would so deeply appreciate it. From our souls to your soul, and our hearts to your minds. We are collecting consciousness.
Absolutely. So I hope that's a little bit of what I do.
I love it
in the communities that
it's a lot of what you do, Cee Salt. You're big energy. Listen, I'm telling you, we have had multiple performers constantly shouting you out. So I'm like, who the hell is Cee Salt? I need to see Cee Salt. Yes. And to lean in just to your mother's experiences and your experiences and the things that you have done at these societal ages of not being able to do these things, 40, 50, 60, you have a strength. I am seeing a strength in you. And, even with your mother's adversities, it sounds like you get your strength from her living 27 years with that cancer in her body. And it sounds like you're even taking it to the next level. Cause the generations as we go into having children and having new generations, they continually step it up. And I feel like, you're on that back burner of your ancestors with that strength that they had. You are intensifying it, and you are showing where there are no limitations, and you are showing, guys, you can do anything. Stop letting age define you. Stop putting age in that box and show up. So thank you for showing up as that big energy.
Thank you.
And one thing I just want to also expand a little bit more on, because I think it could apply to anybody at any age, is using the stage as a mirror. So I find that when we look at ourselves in the mirror, I do this little practice because we're so quick in the first 5-10 seconds of or even less of looking at ourselves in the mirror. I think we all fall prey, if we're not aware, to oh, look at the wrinkles. Oh, look at the dark circles. Oh, look at the hair. Look at whatever, oh, look at that fat there. Look at this, And so I like to really, when I'm being really conscious in the mirror, I like to look in the mirror and be like, wow, just smile at myself. Just give myself the biggest smile and be like, you are so beautiful. And look in your eyes and tell yourself that. But it's almost like you used, and I loved that because I haven't really heard anybody yet say that about the stage specifically, that they actually reflected on their images as almost this mirror, this live mirror in front of them, and I think that we all carry those struggles as women because there's such standards put out there to look this way and be this way, and and they're so unattainable and they're so unrealistic really for the average person.
And getting more so all the time.
Totally.
More and more all the time. It just, I am astounded by, it was challenging growing up as, again, a girl of the 70s, and all I ever wanted was to get married, have kids, and, and all I heard was, well, you don't have to settle for that. You can be whatever you want. But that's what I want to be. So I can be whatever I want as long as it's something, again, that you think that I should be doing. But because I wanted to do this other thing, that's settling. No. Getting married and having kids has been the greatest thing that has ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
And I am so proud of my babies, who are all in their 30s now. And the interesting thing, when you talk about that mirror and the stage being the mirror, the last show that I did, the Halloween show, I kind of did a reverse of the show that I did in March. So Snow White, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, cool.
Snow White.
Yes.
So she has been a muse for me from the time I was, like, I can't even remember not loving Snow White.
Oh.
So when I did the show, I decided, well, I went from maiden to, child, maiden, crone. How about if I reverse it and go the other way? So I started off as the crone from Snow White, the hag, walking through the audience, and then walked on stage and became the queen, and then the reveal down to the to Snow White, like the blue and yellow underwear. And I had Elixir, who is a performer from Halifax, create apple-shaped pasties for me. Oh. So she did shiny apple pasties, and so I stripped down to the apple, and then held the breasts with the apple to show the crowd. And in that performance, I had thought about using like the magic mirror actual video in the backdrop to create that scene. But then I realized the audience is the mirror. So I focused on them as the mirror. So all of the big moments and all the big summoning of the magic mirror happened as I was summoning the audience. And that went really, really well. I was really pleased with how that turned out. But that is the gift of the performance, time and time again, that, when you do the tech run and you're performing in front of a certain audience, you have a certain type of energy. And then when you are doing the big show with all the crowd and all the energy, it completely transforms and becomes something completely different. And the mirror of the audience and what they bring is just such a gift as a performer, and as someone who's navigating through life, and you're seeing, you think, oh, well, that didn't go really great, and then people are like, oh my God, that was so amazing, you did such a great thing. And also transversely, you think, oh, that went really well, and then you kind of get like not a lot of response from that. So the other lesson, I guess, in all of that is, yes, we are performing for the audience, but mostly we're performing for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, as I said earlier, what the audience takes from it, or what they observe or feel or filter through their own experience, that's on them. Mm-hmm. You need to be proud of the journey and the performance in and of itself, because just like anything, if you're doing it for outside validation, that is not the reason why you should be doing things. Like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to get all these tips and I'm going to be like, you're not going to get a standing ovation every time. You're not going to, you're not going to have all those moments. And if I considered, my Halloween show a failure because I didn't get a standing ovation at the end of it like I did before, then why would I still be doing it? Like, I do it because of the message and the being seen, having people see me and see Salt, and maybe challenging themselves in a way that they hadn't expected to see when they came in.
I love it.
Music to my ears.
Yeah. I can't wait. I hope I get to see you and perform in real life in one of the upcoming shows.
Well, Jacinda, I think, we're doing a show in September, I think, because the date she had picked is actually my birthday. So
amazing.
I have, going back to Cee Salt's origin, I have a vision of her origin story.
I love it. I love the storytelling.
To hopefully bring to the stage in September. And it's been percolating for 2 years now.
Cool.
And I'm really looking forward to bringing that to the stage. So hopefully that'll happen.
Stay tuned. Sounds to me, Cee Salt, it sounds like some divine timing happening.
Right?
I don't know. I'm all about it. Cee Salt, let it happen. No expectations.
Yeah.
No expectations. So, Cee Salt, where do you like to create your craft? Are you creating in your house? Do you ever go to a friend's house? Do you do studios? What do you like to do?
Usually, it comes from the music. Back up. Usually, once Jacinda announces whatever the theme for whatever show, I kind of discern whether or not that is that I'm called to be part of that energy or part of that show. And once I decide, yes, that's what I want to do, then I pick a song. And as I said, the song choices, usually 80s, 70s, 60s, sometimes, are storytelling songs, because that's how I like to create my performance. So I write out all the lyrics, leave space in between the lines, and just kind of go, I want to do this at this point. I want to do this at this point. At first, when I first started performing, I was really concerned about not having enough in the performances. So I would call Jacinda, and she would come over to the house, and we kind of work through it. And we would just sit there and talk about it. And she'd be like, no, it's okay. You don't have to like fill in every second. You can have moments. And actually, after I went to the Atlantic Burlesque Festival last year, the first festival that they had in Halifax, one of the performers, Newfound Lad, who's mind blowing. They did this performance, the Sea God performance, and for a lot of it, they were just walking across the stage with this long train of like tool material that they would just kind of sweep up and then just walk and then stand. And I was like, that's filling the space without all the things. Because like sometimes if it's a lot of things, you miss.
Keep it simple.
You miss them, yeah. And so watching that, I was just like blown away. And I was like, okay, I can be in that moment, and I can take the pause, and it doesn't always have to be so filled up with everything. And so basically that's what I do. Like I said earlier, the March show, Shady Sugar helped me with some of that, because I hadn't really, like I said earlier, I'm not a dancer. I'm not really flexible in a lot of ways. But she helped me to harness some of that energy. And again, it was like, at this point, you want to do this, and then, you can kind of fill in. Right. And I do leave a lot of space for just kind of, I guess, improv in the moment, because first of all, I don't want to be so worried about what I'm supposed to be doing at each point. And also the audience will really help me to
the energy.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I did do my performance in March, there was stuff that I had never practiced that showed up. And it was like banging the floor, and I was rolling. I'm like, where is this from? Okay,
I love it.
Cee Salt's got this covered. And
yes,
and trusting the process and trusting that inner energy that comes forward in those moments.
Again,
cool.
music to my ears, and that is so true. Like it is like I said it earlier, letting that ego out and just surrendering to what is that intuitive, that divine clock in us that knows exactly what it needs to do, and we just need to get our mind and our brain out of the way, and just the magic happens. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's lighting me up. It's lighting me up right now, Cee Salt.
I love it. I do.
Excuse me.
do. Yeah, it's fun to hear that. I like when I hear that the improv is such a piece, because it's like really cool to see what your actual soul brings through, like that part of you that's driving that you're not aware of. And so I mean, that's a common thing, a tool that I think everybody has mentioned using, and I think that is just like so fun to think about, you know, just having this total freedom of expression moment. Like,
yes, it's authentic.
Yeah, it sounds really like just so much fun to have.
And it's also a big part of trusting yourself and trusting the audience, because when we in a lot of cases tend to have or try to have everything also planned out and so organized and so meticulous in so many ways. Right. But it's okay to be messy, and it's okay, like Shady, you know, with her corset
ripping up.
And it's like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. Like, you know, or you fall, or you slip, or something doesn't go right. Well, nobody out there knows what it's supposed to go like anyway. So just be in the moment and embrace the messiness of it sometimes.
Taking life too seriously when we are trying to make it perfect.
Yes.
And I think for me, like when I think about dancing as a kid, like when I was in like jazz, and I was never a dancer either. I never heard the beat. I had no idea what we were counting. I was like, I don't even get this. But that's for me like what is a little bit of a wound when I think about any kind of performing dance. I'm just like, ooh, like I don't want to have to learn anything, because it was so stressful to remember like those moves. So I love that. It can be whatever. You don't even have to have it choreographed if you don't want to. Like, I love that.
I really do. Like the words are everything to me. Like I love writing. I've always been a writer, and so when I get a song that really speaks to me and that I can really sink my teeth into the words of it, that's what comes through, and that's what I use as my benchmarks and the points of where I want to do everything. And because as far as like 5, 6, 7, 8, let's do it. Like, no, that's not even something that ain't me, baby. I can tell a good story, and I can
I like that.
Inhabit the story and bring it forward so that other people can get something from it too.
I love it.
Do you ever, this is just a little side note on your writing. Do you ever perform your writing out at anything in the community? Like, are you doing poetry?
I did have a blog a few years ago, pre-pandemic, and really loved sharing life stories through that. One of my goals is to resurrect a website and get my words back out there a little more.
Love that.
I would love to be more visible in spaces, and to be able to share my own words and my own experiences through that. And I trust that will happen.
Yeah.
They know that the energy moving forward, there's been a lot of things happening. And I feel that will be something that will happen again soon.
I love it.
Releasing the attachment to the outcome.
Yeah. I look forward to continuing just watching your journey. That's what I've said to some of the other girls. It's been fun. Like, it's exciting just to see whatever art, whatever shine we want to bring forward, because we're all unique individuals. So let your shine out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the umbrella of burlesque, or the umbrella of talent NB, gives us, gives us shade and safety to be our own selves within that world. And you know, I don't dance like Shady, and I don't move like Jacinda or, you know, Cayenne. I don't have costumes like Josie, but they don't have stuff like me either.
Yeah. Right. And that comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely. So, you know, you can go and you know, like there's some of the shows, like the last show, well, the one that you were in, that is not where I am called as a performer, to be in that space as a performer. But I love going and being a supporter and being part of the audience and watching everybody's interpretation of those themes and that energy. And so, you know, you don't, again, you can love everybody and not like every single thing.
Right.
Right. But you can still love the performance, and you can still love the performer, and still not be called to be in that space, you know, yourself. And again, that is the one of the huge blessings of this group, is that nobody says, well, why aren't you doing this show? You know, you should be doing this show. Why don't you do the show? You're like, no, not going to do that show. Okay. That just opens the space for somebody else that wants to do it.
Right, you know? Exactly.
And again, to honor those experiences for everybody. And, you know, to lump burlesque or drag or performance of any type into one little box is just so demeaning to the whole experience and to all of the performers that step up and show their vulnerability and their joy and their sadness and their grief and their happiness in all of those experiences.
Beautifully put.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel it. I feel it in my soul.
Yeah.
It sounds authentic, you know, and honoring of self, honoring of others.
Yeah.
Well,
beautiful.
I feel like, are we in closing? It feels like that was like a nice way to like wrap it up. But I mean, not to rush it, but do you have anything else that you want to share that's on your heart about the burlesque journey, world, like anything that is just there?
Yeah, I would just go back to the Taekwondo bodybuilding burlesque journey, and how each of those things had to happen for me to be sitting with you today. At the time when I started Taekwondo at age 40, did I know that Cee Salt would be, you know, talking to both of you on Collecting Consciousness today? Never in a million years. Like, that was never even a glimmer of a thought for me. It was a glimmer for somebody. There was divine intervention and divine timing that led me through those journeys that seem so separate and so disjointed, but are completely connected through that whole experience. And so I would, again, just challenge people to, whatever experience you're going through, to be in it and really be in it and really get what you can from it, because the journey may take you to a place that you have not even dreamed of, that your brain cannot even comprehend, but that the divine timing and the vision that the universe has for you is so much greater than you could have even imagined. And it doesn't have, whatever the thing is that sparks your joy, do that thing. Don't let somebody else's expectations or visions of what a certain person at a certain point in their life is supposed to do. Don't let that hold you back. Don't let that be the reason why you don't. Whatever the thing is that you want. It's okay to do it and really suck at it too. If it, like, seriously, like, that took me so long to figure out. Like, it's okay to to not be good at something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get better at it is by doing it. And so you have to enjoy the doing and enjoy
the process.
Enjoy the I would say failures, but enjoy the challenges that come up along the way, because surmounting those things are what moves you forward.
Yeah. Oh, it's how you learn.
Yeah.
That's how you learn, and keep learning.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
I love it.
Cee Salt, thank you so much. Yes. I so look forward to being in a show with you at some point in time.
Oh yeah, that will all happen.
Divine timing.
Absolutely, trusting in the process and trusting in the connections that we're making and where this will all lead. It's okay, like, when you start up a really steep staircase, you can't always see what's at the top. You just keep going up one step at a time, and following that journey, we'll get there. We just have to be patient on the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Such wisdom.
I know. I was like, we're gonna write. Cee Salt, you're gonna write this down for your writings for your blog. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to Middle Cove and be on the beach with the water running over there.
The seagulls, Cee Salt. Oh, like when I hear a seagull, I'm just like, I love it. And smelling that salt air. Oh,
yeah.
There's nothing
I can go, side note, Middle Cove, my favorite place in the world. Just sitting there on the rocks with the wind just blowing in from the ocean and the sound of the water over the roll. Yeah, it's just it's everything.
My dad, so my mom was a nurse back in the day, and she would work overnights. And so Dad, we grew up Catholic, but Dad wouldn't take us to church. He'd take us to Middle Cove, and he'd say that you don't have to be in church to be with God. Absolutely. And so I feel you. Middle Cove is. I can see it as you said it. The smells.
It really, truly is. Like when I have a video that I took the last time I was there, and when I'm feeling like disconnected, I just play the video and listen to the.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Honestly, Newfoundland is the world's best kept secret.
Yeah. No, again, don't tell everybody.
Well, I know. I don't want to be a gatekeeper because I want people to experience.
As long as they can go and leave again and leave it.
Preserve it for what it is.
But even if you tell people, it's like this like foreign land that they're like, they think it's like so far away truly. Because I've seen many people react.
Because they also think it's a lot smaller than it is. Like, we're going to 4 days and we're going to see the whole island. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Literally I just drove through 4 states, and it took me less time than what I would have had to driven across the island.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We had an epic hitchhike trip, me and Courtney, across the island.
We sure did.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was like 14 years ago. We hitchhiked across Newfoundland.
Yeah. But it was such an enriching experience because that's how I got to know Newfoundlanders. Like we met so many random people. I mean, truck drivers to a lady offering her RV to us, and she didn't even know us. Like it was just such a beautiful way to taste the flavor of who a true Newfoundlander is. Like you are the most hospitable.
We will give you our shirt off our back.
Visiting Newfoundland.
Oh, podcast. Yeah. Next one, we'll do a whole.
Yes.
Rave about
a tour guide. It'll be a tour guide's dream. You jump on the episode. We'll give you all the local spots to do.
Totally. Well, it was so great. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom, because you are definitely in the era of the wise sage. You're sitting back. You're like, you've connected decades of dots, which is like, me and Court are only 3 decades into dot connecting, and you, and it is really special to feel that breadcrumb trail is what I call it, like the divine breadcrumb trail that if you follow it, it does somehow lead to, it's all connected,
all the good things.
And it's so beautiful. And
thank you both very much for doing this this series. I was so excited when you announced it, and glad that I was able to get it done today. And just you spreading this message and sharing our love of burlesque in the community that is grown up around it is such a gift. So thank you both very much for sharing your love and energy with all of us.
Oh, thank you, Cee Salt. Truly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
It's been a deep pleasure. It's been such a deep pleasure.
Yeah.
So like really, it's satisfying in so many things. Yeah. So thank you all, and thank you for showing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Till the next time, Cee Salt.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. On the next time, you'll see us on another episode where we will continue the journey of connecting with burlesque performers. So stay tuned and stay wise.
Yeah. Till next time.